What's going on? My name is Nate, and I am somebody that dreams very vividly. Like, I dream in color, I dream in emotion, I dream loud. And I had this dream several weeks ago now that still sticks with me. And I've had dreams in the past where I lucid dreamt once, where I was like in control of my dream. Something was happening to me, and I was like, no, this is not real. This is a dream. And I changed my dream. That was crazy. I had another dream once where I dreamt within my dream, and then in my dream, I woke up and I was still in my dream. That was weird too. That was like Inception. Uh, but I had this dream, and I want to talk about it. So I'm gonna explain the dream, and then I'm gonna explain my interpretation of the dream after that. So let's start. With my dream, this one in particular, I there were moments where I was looking from my point of view, and then there were other moments where I was looking at myself going through the experience. And the dream started out with me being told, I don't know if I was directly told, like I don't know if that happened or if I just forgot that happened, but I remember being told, knowing that I was gonna die, and it was like X amount of time that it was gonna happen. So very soon, it was like you're gonna die like very soon, and so I was like, oh my God, like that was really really hard. And I remember the day came and I was like, I'm gonna die today. Like I know today is my last day. And I remember in my dream, we were in the dining room. It wasn't my house, but it was a house that I guess was my house in the dream. And I was in there and I was so emotional. I was crying so heavy. I felt such intense weight on me, which I really believe was fear and anxiety and just the unknown. And it was really scary. I was crying so bad. I was with my parents and my brothers weren't there. And I was so upset because I was going to die without my brothers being there. And that was really, really hard for me to accept. And then my brothers ended up coming into the room. So they were with me. And I remember us being very close. And then it kind of goes to black. And then my older brother was all of a sudden walking me out of the house, like out the front, I guess. And there was another energy with us that was very masculine. It was definitely a male energy. Uh, and the way that I remember it, if you could imagine, it was like an oval, like a tall oval type, like energy. Like there was no figure, there was no structure. The edges were like very soft, so it wasn't like a hard edge. Like I'm looking at a black oval, but it was like a deep, dark energy. Not like a dark in a negative way, but just like a deep, like I'm like the energy was there. It was very much there. I knew it was there, and it knew that I knew that it was there. And I noticed that my brother was the one leading me. So it was my brother Frank, my older brother, me, and then that energy was kind of behind me to my side a little bit, like I like back here. And I thought it was interesting that it wasn't leading me, but it was there. It was just as important as my brother, but it wasn't there leading me. It was almost like it was like showing me. Like it was like the Christmas past, like they were like, look at this. You know what I mean? So anyway, so I'm being led out of the house. My brother is leading me with the energy behind me. And there was like we go up to the left, and then there was a river, almost like a creek type size, and then there was an overpass, which I don't understand why. I really don't get why. It's like I-4 is just haunting me always. So there was a little paddle boat, and my brother led me to the paddle boat. So I get into the paddle boat, and all of a sudden it was also nighttime. So like all of a sudden it was like the stage turned on. Like there was music and there was light and there was such love and acceptance. And the first thing I noticed was to my left there were orcas that were jumping out of the water, which is really important for me because orcas are my favorite animal, and I believe that orcas are my spirit animal. And that was the first thing I noticed. That was when I noticed the overpass as well. And so I'm in this paddle boat, and then all of a sudden, the banks of the little river are lined with everybody that I've ever met in my life. And they were clapping for me and they were cheering for me and they were so happy. And so now I'm in this little paddle boat being paraded through all of this. And it was such love and such light, and it was so nice. It was such a contrast a little bit before, feeling so heavy and like uh dead isn't the right word, but just dead, like. And so now I'm feeling this energy and this light and this warmth, and all these people are clapping for me and cheering for me. And so I'm going through it, and there were a couple of faces that I recognized in the crowd, a lot that I didn't. And so I go in, and then the river kind of led to the door of the house that I just came out of. And once I got to the door, the boat turned into a train, which I didn't see. It was just like, now you're in a train. So I was in a little train going through the house, and again, the house was packed with people, like so many people. And they all left me like a little path to go through, and were still clapping for me, super happy. And I remember knowing that I was alone in the paddle boat, but I didn't confirm that I was alone. Like I didn't turn around at all. So I knew that I was alone, but I didn't know that. I just knew it. And so I was going through the house, and then I got to the back door, and there were these girls that were like, Nay, oh my God, Nay, I need your autograph. Like I was a celebrity. And I was like, oh, we're kind of doing a whole thing. And I turn around and look behind me, and I still see everybody. I still see the path that I just was led on, but I saw the rest of the train and it was empty. So that was my confirmation that I was correct, that I was alone, but I wasn't scared. I was just like, well, I know that I'm alone, but that was the confirmation of it. And it was like a small kids train. So not like a big train, I'm on like a small kids train where it's like one person per car. And so I'm on the train, and then they were like, oh, okay, after I was like, I'm kind of doing something, which is what I said in my dream. I can literally see it and hear it perfect. So I go outside, and it was quiet. It was quiet. It was like all the cheering and all the happiness was gone, but the feeling was still there, because there were tiki poles that were leading me now the path. And now this was like a walking path. And this was like the backyard. So like there was like the yard, then there was a lake, and then forest beyond the lake. And then there were the tiki poles. That was the only source of light, were from the tiki poles. And then the rest was just dark. And I knew that I was going into the lake. That was my end goal, my end journey, I guess, to finish, I guess, just to go into the void. And so my dad was out there and my yaya was out there. And they're the only two people that I remember being out there. But I can still see it vividly. And that's when I woke up. And I remember I instantly woke up and I was like, that was crazy. And I remember thinking, like, I only saw my dad and yaya at the end of my journey. And I was like, well, maybe I didn't have time to see like my mom or my other grandparents because I was woken up. So now let's interpret my dream. So last month, my uncle passed away unexpectedly on January 2nd. And it was really hard for us. And when the day that he passed, I spoke out to him and I said, if you need to channel, you can channel through me. My channels are open. I'm open for you. If you have a message that you need to give, you can do that through me. And I'm very spiritual. I feel very connected. I feel very much like I see energies and I can feel energies. And I believe that my connection is through dreams. So I had this dream 4 or 5 days after he had passed away. And once I woke up from it, I was like, was that Uncle Jason? And then I was like, no, you're just reaching for things. And then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, well, no. So let me go through it again. So me being told that I was going to die felt very unexpected and very heavy and sad, which makes sense. I feel as though I was interpreting what I think moving to the afterlife is, what that journey looks like. And when I was being led out, I by my brother out of the house, and that energy was there. I do believe that that was my uncle. I believe that that was his spirit, and so I believe that that was him showing me kind of the journey. Hey, bubbies. Vulcan says hi. He's saying hi. Talking about Uncle Jason in my dream. So I believe that he was directing me through that. And when I first saw the orcas, my first thought was that they were visiting me because say hi. Because I'm very spiritual, like I said. And I believe that the orcas presenting themselves first were kind of like, we see you and we're here for you. And I think that when I die, I think that I'm going to be reincarnated as an orca. So I think that was them being like, we're keeping our eyes on you. That's how I felt. That's how I felt like it was. And then when I was in the boat going through saying hi to everybody, it felt like that was me, my life being celebrated, people that were welcoming me back to wherever we come from. And that felt very warm and accepting. And I think when I got into the house, and then still same thing, it felt like people were like really happy to see me still. And then I thought it was interesting when I was alone on the train that I have to go through this journey by myself. Like I have to go through it alone, but I wasn't scared. And then I think with it, Vulcan chose right now to eat. So the way that my dream ended with me going out of the house into what I would consider the void, other than having my dad and my yaya, that felt very intimate. It felt like, okay, now these are my elders, my respected elders that are here to kind of like hold me and like, pass me on. And like, now I'm with my elders, with my ancestors, with my people. And I in my looking back still, I feel like my journey that didn't get to complete to where because I woke up, I think that my journey was going to end going from the edge of the lake out to the edge of the forest. And I was trying to think like what was out there, where was I going? And it kind of makes sense because that was me passing on into the darkness, like passing on to whatever's after that. And I've seen a lot of TikToks of people talking about their experience with dying and coming back to life. And they had very similar stories, which I thought was really interesting. And I saw these TikToks after that dream. So I didn't know all this before I had that dream. And so I really do believe that my uncle presented himself and showed me that the journey afterwards and the path and everything was just very loving and accepting and warm. And that brings a lot of calm to me, especially knowing that he's okay and that he was okay. And so that was my dream. It's crazy thinking about it because it was just a dream. But to me, it was like I was there, like I lived it. I felt everything. It was so nuts. Life's crazy. So with that, I am going to end this video. If you have any suggestions in terms of dream interpretation or maybe your interpretation of my dream, let me know, comment. I'll respond. I read my comments. So let me know. I think it's crazy. It's just crazy. Dreaming is crazy. But anyway, I love you so much. Please stay safe and just, I don't know, just love yourself and everybody. But anyway, I love you and I'm going to see you later. Deuces.